Anybody want to read?
I'll take it.
All right, go ahead, brother. Go down to, see what we got. What do you say down through, well, how about through 9 anyway for
9?
now, and then then we'll see.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
9.
In the first year of Darius the Mede, I arose to be an encouragement and a protection for him. And now I will tell you the truth. Behold, 3 more kings are going to arise from Persia. Then a fourth will gain far more riches than all of them. As soon as he becomes strong through his riches, he will arouse the whole empire against the realm of Greece. Alexander the Great.
Thank you.
And a mighty king will arise, and he will rule with great authority and do as he pleases. But as soon as he has arisen, his kingdom will be broken up and parceled outward to 4 points of the compass. Though not to his own descendants, nor according to his authority, which he wielded for his sovereignty, will be uprooted and given to others besides them. Then the king of the south will grow strong along with one of his princes, who will gain ascendancy over him and obtain dominion. His dominion will be a great dominion. After some years, they will form an alliance, and the daughter of the king of the south will come to the king, and of the north to carry out his peaceful arrangement. He will not maintain a position of power, nor will he remain with his power, but she will be given up along with those who brought her in and of the one who sired her, as well as he who supported her in those times. But one of the descendants of her line will arise in his place, and he will come against their army and enter their fortress of the king of the north, and he will deal with them and display great strength. Also, their gods with their metal images and their precious vessels of silver and gold, he will take into captivity to Egypt. And he, on his part, will refrain from attacking the king of the north for some years. Then the latter will enter the realm of the king of the south, but will return to his own land.
All right.
Yep.
A lot of movement.
Got
A lot of movement and the conflicts to come. So, Darius. What do we know about King Darius?
King Darius was defeated. King Darius the third,
This is Darius the third, I
and
believe.
he, and he was defeated by Alexander.
Okay. And what do we know? What do we know? I arose to be an encouragement and a protection for him. Who's he speaking of? Who's speaking right now?
I was going to ask you, in the beginning of 11, is that the angel is speaking?
I
I
believe
would say, yeah,
this is still a continuation of
Right.
10, yeah,
this.
the angel
Yes.
speaking, yeah.
And telling you what's happening and what's about to happen. Anybody see something there? Anybody have anything?
Props.
It's certainly a coming time, right? A time to the future.
I'm thinking like verse 3, when
Yes,
it says
verse
a mighty king will arise and he will rule with great authority and do as he please. It makes me think of the Antichrist.
Oh,
I
there's
don't know if
no.
I'm getting ahead of it.
Later on in there,
Yeah,
there is that
he
it
starts
is-
speaking to that.
Yeah,
He starts speaking to them. But so what do we know about Darius? Who defeated Darius?
Alexander.
And then we see this, that 3 more kings are going to arise from Persia.
So altogether, there's four kings.
Okay. Then the 4th will gain far more riches than all of them.
And that was
Darius
Darius the third, was the fourth king.
Okay. And then, as soon as he becomes strong through his riches, he will arouse the whole empire against the realm of Greece. So they go to war, yes?
Yeah.
And what do we know? What happens?
They get broken up into four.
Who gets broken up?
Four kings.
Those four kingdoms,
The Greek Empire.
the kingdom,
It broken between the 4 generals.
yeah.
Alexander.
So there's the north and
After he
south.
died.
Yeah.
There's the north, the south, the east, and the west.
The Greek, Grecian?
Macedonian.
Grecian?
Grecian.
Which is Greece.
Macedonian Empire. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was the Greeks.
The Greeks, right. But I was trying to get the right word.
The Grecian.
The Grecian Empire is broken after Alexander dies, yes?
Yeah.
Into 4 pieces.
Yeah.
So that's what we see, right?
Yeah.
We see 4 here. 4th will gain far more riches than all of them. And as soon as he becomes strong through his riches, he will arouse the whole empire against the realm of Greece. Right? And a mighty king will arise. Who's that?
Yeah.
Well,
Any idea?
would that be Alexander?
Yeah.
No,
No.
I don't think so. I think Alexander is part of.
The other, okay.
He's going. He's gone. That's what he's talking about
Yeah,
here.
because in that space of these verses, I learned today, there's like 150 years going on there.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, so Greece ruled for really it's the Sidonians and there's yes, part of Greece.
That was the north, that was the north.
Yeah.
Greece. I have this little thing here.
Yeah, so they oh wow. The Seleucid, right? The Seleucid Empire actually comes to rule at some point here.
Now that's the south.
The Seleucid Empire is the east.
East.
Yeah, the Seleucid Empire is the one that ultimately is who the Maccabees overthrow. The Seleucid Empire. So the Seleucid people are probably 170, maybe about 180 years before Jesus, or so. Then they're overthrown by the Maccabees. So that's when the Maccabees go in and reconstitute the temple. Yes, get the pig blood out of
So
it.
that's kind of like happening, the first part of like around 500 BC.
I think a little after that, actually, closer, probably to 400.
Okay.
But you're looking at the Medo-Persian Empire in the region taking over. Who sends Ezra back? What king?
Oh,
The king that sends Ezra and Nehemiah to build the wall. Nehemiah builds the wall.
Xerxes, yeah.
Cyrus.
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 I have a question.
Yes.
On chapter 7,
7?
yeah,
Okay.
I know, right? Here we
Yes.
go. When it says, on like 17, these great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. Does that have any, only because it keeps saying 4, and there's 4 kings, there's 4 beasts. Is this 2 just different things that happen over time, or is there any connection? Only because it just,
And 7.
as
there's-
we're reading it, I'm like, oh wait,
Well, so let's
4.
remember in the gematria that 4 is
Yeah.
the number of the physical earth,
Right,
whole
Right.
earth, the four corners of the
right.
earth.
But when they said
So-
the three kings, then the fourth king.
Well,
and
so
then-
when you start talking about the number four frequently, you're talking about not God's people. Usually it's the creation of the entirety.
Right.
So typically, but so what we see with 7, yeah, Daniel's visions have some overlap, I think.
Yeah,
That's my opinion.
that's why I asked.
That some of them have overlap. And what you have with Daniel also is you have a vision of near time and then vision for end time.
Yeah,
So you have several movements going on in the vision.
Mhm.
And it's not easy to follow, but there's crumbs, there's paper trails because he's already left.
yeah. Well, I
It's
know we're
already been
talking
done.
about the fourth one was Rome, when we were back there, and now it's,
Well, now, but they're talking about
Yeah,
not
it's two.
kings necessarily.
right,
So a king can come from multiple kings can come from one kingdom.
right,
That's what we have to remember.
right.
So Cyrus, here, back to that perspective, Cyrus is, when does Cyrus send them, by the way? What's the timeline? Roughly when does Cyrus send Nehemiah and Ezra to rebuild the wall and the
600,
temple?
wasn't
What do you think, T? You got a computer over there.
Let's see.
You can cheat with Google. What do you think? Anybody know before you cheat? Before you cheat, let's see if we can get somebody. If somebody will.
Was it around 600?
Huh?
Was it around 600?
No,
No, not even.
no, no. It's a little after that. But what do you got?
In mine, in the bottom of mine,
Yeah.
it says that Darius was 521 to 486 BC,
That's Darius.
and then it went to Xerxes. Xerxes,
Yeah, and then
it said the omission of the names of the kings after Xerxes could well have been due to their unimportance.
well, you got Cyrus lived a very short period of time. That's probably why. But he was the one that commissioned them to go back.
Who was it?
Cyrus.
Cyrus.
Cyrus was 559 to 530 BC.
Okay, so about 500. About 500.
I was only off 500.
Yeah, you're close though. Close.
So this is
And then
all
Darius,
around the
well,
same time.
Darius himself was the one who then actually supported it. He supported the continuing building of it. So, and when did Darius end, T?
It said 521 to 486 BC.
So about 486 BC, Darius continues that build and allows that second temple to be built. So then Xerxes comes in. Xerxes, who marries Xerxes?
Wasn't it?
No,
I was hoping that she didn't turn her head.
No, Bernice? Was it Bernice? Am I saying it right? Ptolemy's daughter?
Esther was one
Oh,
of,
Esther.
Esther was, but don't forget there were a couple of
Well,
Xerxes.
Right.
that did ask about?
Oh yeah,
Or so that's that.
Xerxes and that, well, yes. The book of Esther is happening right around with Xerxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we don't know what.
So-
No,
we don't know what
ChatGPT said something else, remember?
What did chat say?
What said that?
No, Esther without question was married to Xerxes,
Yeah.
scripturally.
Queen Vestas.
Vashti.
Vashti.
Vashti is who
Vashti.
Vashti is who she dethroned.
Yeah.
Yeah. It said
Esther
Queen Esther,
dethroned
yeah.
Vashti because Vashti would not come to the king when he beckoned her,
Yeah. Yeah, two prominent wives.
and he let her
And about
go.
50
Does it-
others.
What is it saying there?
It said he had two prominent,
Xerxes?
Xerxes, has two prominent wives in the biblical book of Esther.
In the book of Esther, what's the timeline? Does it tell you?
Timeline of book of Esther. It's 483 to 473.
Yeah, that's Xerxes. So the whole point of that is that this is all happening around that timeline. So it's all happening in that timeline. And Xerxes, that's mean, he was a great king. I don't know if anybody has seen the movie 300 about the
That's the movie.
about the Spartan
Yeah, oh, yeah,
army that fought him in the pass of Thermopylae,
right.
which is supposedly real history. But that is Xerxes.
Yeah,
That is a war waged against the Spartans about and the Grecian. They were all nation states, so they all hate Athens. The Athenians didn't like the Spartans didn't like the, they're all over. The Thracians didn't like the Macedonians. They're all in
Not much has
fighting
changed, huh?
fighting with one another. So,
Stuff like that.
but this is that time period. So when we see that, we know there's a lot happening in that region. There's a ton happening in that region. So from that particular perspective, we know here in this movement, we have kings that are coming into power, kings that are coming out of power. We know that the people of God were sent back to Jerusalem around this timeline to start rebuilding the wall and to start rebuilding the temple. So there's a lot of movement. So knowing that Daniel's vision, we have to also recognize that when he's saying those things, this comes into play. Who is he speaking of? Because his people, he has a vision that his people will go back to the land. Right?
So it's kind of like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got several layers going on in his vision. So what else? What else do we see? Anything, Daniel, over there? Anything good?
Oh, well, we see the back and forth between the North Kingdom, which was the great city. Then the kingdom in the south was Egypt. They were always fighting. And then they were sought an alliance. So I think the king in Egypt sent his daughter to get married. And then the king in Syria got divorced from his wife and married the daughter of.
The queen.
But then the former
Egyptian.
wife poisoned the king, and she killed the new queen. And then her brother came and took revenge, and there are a lot of back and
A lot of movement.
Yeah.
They just don't like be happy with their little space. They just want it all of it.
Always.
And
They
Israel
still
was
do.
in the middle of it.
The clock between.
But they were always fighting for that territory.
Oh, yeah.
It was midway.
Yeah.
So the Egyptian and the Palestine was the south, and they were supposedly what I read today. For her, they were the more powerful. Does that sound right?
That the southern kingdom was
The
more
southern-
powerful than the northern,
Yeah,
than the Assyrians.
yeah.
Well, it was back and forth. I don't know which
Yeah.
who was more
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah, I don't know if they were. They're the Assyrian kingdom at one time
I mean, maybe
was the
you
dominant
probably
kingdom in the
don't
region.
know.
No, I think
How many times did Israel send out delegations
Oh, yeah.
to make a treaty with
Yeah, make
Syria,
peace.
just so that they wouldn't get wiped out when they came,
constant movement.
and they ended up getting taken anyway.
But so does everybody understand what Daniel just said about the regional snapshot? That the Assyrian kingdom is slightly to the north of where Israel would be, and then the Egyptian kingdom is slightly to the south of where it would be, and caught in the middle. They're wedged, if you will. So we see some more stuff. Let's continue. Then the king of the south will grow strong,
Well, there we go.
along with one of his princes, who will gain ascendancy over him and obtain dominion. His dominion will be a great dominion indeed. Okay. What's he saying? Go ahead, Sarah.
Sorry, I just had a quick question going back
Yes.
to 4.
4.
So we said that 4 it represents the whole earth, correct?
For the number 4 in the Hebrew and in the Koine gematria represents
The whole earth.
the creation of the whole earth. So in other words, the created earth. It isn't like the sea of humanity, but it is the physical whole earth. Yes.
Because
Okay,
it's saying here
so-
4 points,
Yeah.
north, south, east, west.
in
Yes.
verse 4, what does it mean by the four winds of heaven then? If 4 means the creation of earth.
North, south, east, and west.
Okay.
It's the 4 points. This says the 4 points of the compass.
Last one.
What are you in?
I'm in Simplified King James.
So it's talking about the winds of the shifting winds of the world.
Okay.
But this is, you have 4 points of the compass.
Yes.
What does everybody else have? 4 points of the compass. Anybody else have a different translation? It's in
I
the
have
middle.
4 winds of heaven
4 winds. That's what Sarah has. 4 winds of heaven.
on
What do you
number
guys,
4.
Esther and John?
Four winds. I got 4 winds of heaven.
4 winds of heaven.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 4 winds of heaven denote the actual winds of the earth,
Okay.
which blow from the 4 corners of the earth. So this, when you see the number 4, you can always talk about, almost always talk about the earth,
Think of what
the creation earth, the tangible, physical earth.
in the wind.
So
Thank you.
yes, you're welcome. So that's why you see in some translations, like the NASB, says the 4 points of the compass. So then the king of the south will grow strong, along with one of his princes, who will gain ascendancy over him and obtain dominion. His dominion will be a great dominion indeed. After some years, they will form an alliance, and the daughter of the king of the south will come to the king of the north to carry out a peaceful arrangement. But she will not retain her position of power, nor will he remain with his power, but she will be given up along with those who brought her in, and the one who sired her, as well as he who supported her in those times. And as Daniel had just said, there was a treaty made between Egypt and Syria, right?
For marriage.
Assyria,
Yeah.
really.
For
Through the marriage. And they sent the Egyptian king, Pharaoh, sent his daughter to marry the Assyrian king, right? And then what happens? The Assyrian king divorces his
Yeah.
queen,
It's so sick.
and she
then-
gets a little angry.
But in order
So she poisons them.
to establish the treaty, he divorced before she even came.
And so,
And then the former wife, she was upset.
yes,
Yeah, well,
I
decided.
think she still she
We can't blame
she
her.
knew her way
Yeah.
around.
Mm.
And when the time came, favorable
To make a move.
to him, man.
You know what's funny? If you think about it, what's funny is most of the time when the king would do these things, they put the queen out,
She was the treaty.
They send them away.
The first one.
or they,
The second one, which was the treaty, the first one got
For
married.
the safety.
yeah, for their own safety, for their own safety. So it's very true, though. If you looked at Xerxes, he sent Queen Vashti away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Many believe that he sent her away into isolation and ultimately killed her
the first wife and the second one.
first.
I don't know if this is
Vashti
true, but
first.
I heard that he wanted her to parade in front of everybody naked. I don't know if that was true.
The
No,
Bible doesn't
That's
say
why-
that.
A lot-
The rabbinic tradition does say that,
Yeah,
but that's only one interpretation.
okay.
Other interpretations are that she used to be from like a princess, so she was from a noble, probably smaller kings or whatever, and it was demeaning for her to come and be paraded in front of drunken,
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
even if they're aristocracy.
yeah,
So her pride was in play, and she didn't want to do it.
So what
And-
did she do? Did she kill him?
no. The challenge that was made is exactly that. The challenge that was made is she
Now we are
defied the
talking
king.
about Vashti.
Yeah.
Yes, Queen Vashti,
Yeah.
who was Xerxes' wife. The challenge that was made was the king called for her, and she would not come. And in the scripture, it says that the men murmured That they
Well,
mumbled and said,
they went
well,
to their laws, right? So the day you remember
Yeah.
about the laws,
yeah,
because that was the reason that Daniel was thrown into with the lions, because he said, if you a king, if you write something, not even you cannot
Can't break it.
break
Yeah.
the law, right?
yes,
So they said, well, our laws teach the nation to be
Yeah.
respectful toward the
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 king.
man was dominant in the family.
and the what? Right. So they were
So
worried
it's
that their
really-
wives would all turn on them.
Sending the wrong messaging.
Yes.
So we don't want. Okay, so maybe she had a reason, but the overarching reason is our laws are gonna be compromised.
Yes.
So
They didn't want the women rising up
They-
against their husbands.
They
Yeah.
did not.
Fine.
They
Say no.
yeah.
You know.
They
Pay
did not.
attention.
They were very. They wanted to follow the letter of the law, not allow the ladies, the wives, to uprise after Vashti set the precedence.
Yeah.
So they are not ready for a feminist
No.
movement yet.
Not ready to give them the vote back then. They were not ready to give the vote back then. No, they were ready for the vote back then. But it is what. So that's what happened, and then
But it wasn't done that's interesting. It wasn't done in the heart of the moment, right?
no.
He wasn't mad and now I'm doing it. They made
took
a
counsel.
counsel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when they were not
Yeah.
drunk and stuff,
Yeah.
they said, look what happened.
Yeah.
I said, well, what happened?
Mm.
No, that wasn't good. It sent the wrong messaging. We don't want and they had so many nations, very different religions under
Yes.
them, right?
Yes.
So they're trying to be fair in a way. So you can see their point of view too. I don't know. I would be able to see it from the administrative perspective.
Yeah.
That's because
Because you want order,
No.
right? They care about the people and they say, well,
Yeah.
we want order. And if the women find out that it was okay to not listen to the husband, right?
And especially the king.
Yeah, and the
Well,
king.
it's not like it hasn't been done till quite recently. I mean,
Wow.
with marrying off her peace treaties or
Oh no, that happened frequently.
yeah. I mean, it's,
Yes. No, that was done
it's probably
especially
still going on. We just don't
especially
know
during
about it.
medieval times.
Yeah.
There were a ton of treaties made through marriage.
Well, I know
Such
in the
things
Orient, I know that was still going on. Pretty,
What?
in the Orient, that still was going on
It-
pretty
it was-
frequently, if not now.
Happened
I mean,
in the very close
Yeah.
west. Very close. Europe was peace.
Mhm.
I think Ferdinand wasn't Ferdinand
Oh, yeah.
with World War
Yeah.
One of the
Mhm.
I mean that's not that long ago.
Mhm.
We were marrying off family and
Recent history.
yeah, very soon, very close. But so I love the fact that we got some history here, and then we also got some information with respect to the kings. Now we're in this, and we're seeing it play out in times that are essentially right after Daniel. Right, he has not moved forward deep into end times yet. This is more near future. Make sense? So we're seeing the movement of the kings and near future things based on not too far in the distant future. So essentially, like when Jesus prophesied that no stone would be left unturned.
Yeah.
Right? That wasn't long after he passed and then ascended. So yes, you're seeing a not that distant future here in this some of this stuff, right? So as we learned, the new queen was she poisoned also? Is
She
that-
was killed. I
she-
don't know if it says.
yeah, she was poisoned or killed.
But what is also interesting,
Did they kill the queen and a king?
They killed
that lady who came from Egypt to marry, like the former wife, killed her husband, the king, and her,
And her.
and probably her entourage.
Yeah.
It says that.
It says
yeah.
the men that went with her.
So she did big, and then the brother of that lady,
Yeah, the
he
brother.
was still a prince in Egypt. He became king, and he had he went to war with them because of that.
Yes.
So, but what's interesting, I think,
Yes.
is you can see. So all these nations, at that time they had it for Israel. None of them was friendly towards Israel.
No.
And it's because of the gods that
Oh, yeah.
were over them, right? So they hated the God of Israel. They hated Yahweh, right? But you know, even the conflict was always like you can see that it was religious. It had religious roots, and until the end, that's not resolved. Look today, they still hate the nation of Israel, right?
Yes.
And it's not just, but it's interesting that the nations in the north of Israel, they hate them more than the ones in the south, which is Egypt, right? You wonder why.
Well, I mean, Israel spent many years
In Egypt.
in Egypt.
Maybe there is still some kind of, I don't know,
And there was-
sympathy,
and
or I don't know if they learn
when-
any history, but
In Exodus, when Moses let them out, how many they took with them?
well, a lot of the Egyptians left, yeah.
Along with their gods and their ways
And their
routines.
valuables.
That's
and-
why Samaria was what it was. I mean, it was the northernmost city in
Well, Samaria was
Israel,
because
but
the Assyrians brought a,
yeah,
you know,
and
they
it was
fought the five gods.
the mixed
Yeah, a lot
marriage,
of
and,
yeah, a lot
and a lot of that was
So I do think based on what you were saying, and I think that lends itself a great deal when you think about how much leeway, but in a very positive way, the sons of Israel were given in Egypt.
yeah.
I mean, Joseph became second in charge.
Jesus.
Yeah. And Joseph took Jesus to hide in Egypt.
I think Egypt was a more stable nation
Yes.
compared to the other.
Yes. A very regal nation. And, you know, but I also think that when you see Egypt had one of the first and largest Christian communities with the Coptics.
They still do. Yeah.
And I think there's a reason for that. There was a lot of breadcrumbs, a lot of Israel, Hebrew root breadcrumbs left that the people were familiar with. And when they heard of this Jesus, you know, something rang true. And I do think that does have they comported themselves, they behaved in a different way than those to the north.
Well, during those empires, right? So the
Yes.
Assyrians, then you had, then you have the Greeks, like the Macedon, and Alexandria.
Yeah.
That was the second biggest city in Egypt, right?
Yes.
And that's where they had that big library, which unfortunately was burned, right? But when they translated the Jewish scriptures from Hebrew into Greek, which was what Jesus and the disciples were using. They were using the Septuagint, right? That translation.
Yeah.
Okay, so what the history says that they had like a great king during that time, and he said he was very interested in culture and this stuff. So there was a large community of Hebrews living in Alexandria, right? There was a lot of them. So then and a lot of them, I think they tried to preserve, the language and all of that. But there were other people, the Greeks, they were curious to read this scripture.
Yes.
They couldn't understand, Hebrew was not easy for them.
No.
So then he said, he sent like a message to the high priest. This was before Jesus, right?
Yes.
During this second temple period.
Yes.
So he sent a message and said, hey, I have this project that I want to do. I want to translate the Hebrew scriptures, but I want to do it proper. I want you to do it. I want you to, So then they sent 12 people from each tribe. So in total, I think there were 70 translators, and they worked separately. Like each tribe had six from each tribe, like 6 times 12 is 72. So 6 of them, like there was like 12 groups of 6, and we don't know if it's true, but the tradition says that at the end they came with 12 translations, and they put them side by side, and they were identical. And they say even then the Holy Spirit guided them. So they will have a scripture in Greek that later on, when Christ will come, You see, he prepared the road.
Yes.
He prepared everything.
Yes.
He prepared the language. La lingua franca was Greek.
Yes.
Was very, because Alexander Macedon had the biggest empire, right?
Oh yes.
So, and they were sent to the ends of the earth because
Yes.
the ones that from the northern kingdom, they never returned. Only from Judah,
Yeah.
not all of them, partially they returned back,
Yeah.
right? That's why you have the Samaritans, then you have the Judah.
Yeah.
Okay? So, but those, they were pockets of Jews everywhere, right?
Yes.
And so when they
It was
came,
four.
when they came on the Pentecost, right? They were there.
Yes, they were.
Thousands of them.
Yes.
And what happens? It was the reverse of the Babylon,
Yes.
right? So Jesus said, "I will send the Holy Spirit." He sent the Holy Spirit, and what do they start in public? They start to speak in other tongues.
And they hear
So
the
guess what?
language.
The Jews who came to worship,
Yes.
you know, at the big celebration that was in Jerusalem, they heard their own language.
Yes, being spoken.
And 3,000 of them when Peter
3,000,
preached,
yes.
yes. And they go back. So you have these cells everywhere of
Yeah.
Christians waiting for the apostles to go and start church.
Yeah, without
That's how the Lord worked.
and I think to that point, I was thinking of how Paul went into Athens, into Greece.
They're always like, that's why they first went to synagogues,
Yeah.
because there were already Christian believers in the synagogue, but there were just a few of them.
Yes.
But that was like the central point where they started to form a church around those.
Oh yes.
And they gave opportunity to the other Jews, but usually they rejected the
Yes,
gospel, right?
and then
So then they moved out, and
Yes.
they went to the Greek.
Other lands.
Yes. other-
But when Paul went in, it was the unknown God
Yeah.
that he spoke
Wow,
about.
yeah.
He was very smart. And he knew how to turn
He was
it around.
He was brilliant in that. Does everybody know that in
Yeah, 'cause
Scripture?
he kind of praised them for their religiousness or whatever.
Yeah, they had spirituality and
spirituality.
yeah.
Yeah. And it is said the one that said to an unknown God. Yeah.
Does everybody know that Scripture? That in Acts,
And Areopagus.
yes,
Because they like, it says like that, because the Greeks, they like to come and talk about new things. Whatever was the newest and the most interesting.
They
The
love-
religion was very high.
and they
but
bartered,
they would talk
they
about religion
bantered all the time.
and poetry and religion. So that's why Paul talks about poetry. He
Yes.
talks about religion. He said, "Oh, I saw this one God,
All the
and you know
Gnostics.
you're very religious." So he starts, you know, because he spoke their language. So,
Patronizing.
Yes. and
Well,
then
he
he gives
did-
them the gospel.
He was brilliant in the respect that what does he say? I become all things to all people
For the gospel.
for the sake of the gospel.
Yes.
So what he did was he utilized the 15 gods that they knew and the one that they didn't. Then he said, "Oh, this is all good stuff, but let me show you who this is.
Yeah.
The one that you don't know." Because to me, what talk about evangelizing. My goodness gracious.
Yeah.
You know, doing that
Yeah,
with folks.
they're literally
Power.
professing that
Yes.
it's there,
Yeah, who is it?
but who is it?
We don't know.
And he just filled that void.
He sure did. Threaded the needle. But as Daniel was saying, too, you know, there are so many things being done regionally. So many we see the captivities of Babylon. We see these captivities, and we, you know, the connectivity to it with the Magi. You see the connectivity with the Magi.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't think about it, how many pockets of it was going on regionally. Now, you know that these Magi went, and they knew who this King of Kings was. They knew that this King of Kings was born. But these Magi were tutored, if you will, under Daniel 600 years before that. And so they're waiting, but that speaks to what Daniel was saying. That as they come and go out of captivity, some remained. And those pockets that remain continue studying. And as they continue studying, they continue understanding who this God, Yahweh, is. Hence allowing those Magi to go and say, "Oh, a king was born. We need to see this king and pay homage to him." Now, of course, you have the gold, the frankincense, and the myrrh, all representative of Christ and why, right? But the whole of the importance is to understand that God's plan is working behind the scenes. We read that they go off into captivity and we think, oh, horrible. Yes, he uses all things for the good. So in penalizing them, in chastising them, he still allowed his gospel to grow.
Yeah.
And planted seeds that would awaken when the watering came later. I think it's just incredibly powerful. So, anyway, but that's what we're seeing here. In all of these kings, you're seeing that setup. You're seeing him talking about what's going on regionally and why it's going on, and then how it, soon you'll see how it impacts God and his will and what he is asking and what he wants to have happen, both here, the near future, and then end times. So it's all good stuff. Really good stuff.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's all wow stuff.
And I just want to mention again, I said to you earlier.
Yeah.
That the really cool thing about all this stuff happening here, this all happened in literal history that anybody could read. So that when they want to say the Bible's not real, it's made up, whatever, that's proof that this happened. I think that's really cool.
Well, they say that the founding documents for Alexander, I think there's 5 proof documents, proof text documents that proving that Alexander lived, and there's something like 5,200 documents proving that Jesus lived.
Right.
You know, just the beyond the preponderance of the evidence that Jesus existed, lived, and did what he said
And
he
he
did.
goes,
Well,
evidence he goes. from
Again,
there.
the evidence that he rose from the grave is how many people around him were willing to die for that story.
Yeah.
When, as you know, most people will not die for a lie.
No.
But all of them were willing to. Even Judas, who said, I killed an innocent man. So, believe upon the Lord thy God. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you, David. Thank you. T and Sarah for contributions. You too, Cheryl. Thank you.